going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, 31 Days of Horror Volume 9, Day 15, coming at you live and direct. Alright, so we are going to go back to France with a film directed by Jess Franco, and it's one of his later 80 efforts, and in my opinion, this is actually one of the, probably Jess Franco's last really great film before he started making like super low budget films in the 90s. He wasn't as prolific in the 90s, and then he just kind of made this huge underground splash in the 2000s with a whole pile of like really kind of low budget trashy films. But yeah, this one right here is always kind of like, to me, felt like his last really great one. Anyways, we're talking about 1988's Faceless. Yeah, Faceless is finally got a re-release. Shriek Show put out the DVD years ago, which was long out of print. And Severin ended up putting out the 4K and Blu-ray. Funny story with this, I actually pre-ordered the 4K, ended up getting the Blu-ray. I didn't make a big stink out of it. It is what it is. So I'm just happy to have an upgrade of the old Shriek Show DVD of, like I said, the last really great Jess Franco film. Now, I don't really have to go into Jess Franco's career. If you're sitting here watching this review, you probably know who Jess Franco is. He's very infamous for probably having the most genre films ever directed. Like, this guy literally has over 200 movies credits to his name, starting way back in the early 60s and directing films right up into the late 2000s before. I think he died in 13. So I think he might have still been putting out films into like the 2010s anyways too, but very prolific career. So but yeah, getting into the synopsis of Faceless. Basically, this one is about so the film starts out with a doctor, and he's with his girlfriend, played by Bridget Leahy. The doctor, of course, is Helmut Berger, and they're with his sister and stuff like that. Anyways, there's an old patient of Helmut Berger's character that wasn't very happy with her surgeries. Anyways, she goes to throw acid on his face. He moves out of the way. His sister takes the blunt end of it, and her face is completely destroyed. Now, he's completely obsessed with his sister and trying to fix up her face. So they get this bright idea where they're going to start kidnapping beautiful women and basically steal their faces to repair hers. So that's essentially the synopsis of the film. Okay, so now my thoughts on Faceless. Now, if you've ever seen Eyes Without a Face from 1960, the classic French film, and then, of course, that movie's classic, right? And then Jess Franco basically remade that film, and I think 1962 was the year the awful Dr. Orloff came out. And this is basically a remake of his film and that film. This is like a modern version of that story of replacing the face with surgeries and stuff. So that's kind of interesting that Franco kind of revisited this whole idea of the awful Dr. Orloff story and did like an updated version in 1988 with a very star-studded cast. Like, so the main doctor in this film is played by Helmut Berger, classic actor from Austria. He appeared in a lot of Italian films, stuff like that. His girlfriend, played by Bridget Leahy, who is a French porn star who worked with like Franco quite a bit. She worked with Jean Roland. Very recognizable. We got Telly Savalas in the film, and his daughter's played by Carolyn Monroe. Telly Savalas, of course, being Kojak himself. He worked with Mario Bava in Lisa and the Devil. Carolyn Monroe, her name speaks for herself. Of course, Slaughter High, Maniac. Tons and tons of films. We also have Chris Mitchum in here, who's the son of Robert Mitchum, who plays the investigator after Carolyn Monroe's character actually is one of the people that ends up going missing. So the storyline in the film is Carolyn Monroe, she's a model in Paris, and anyway, she gets abducted. Telly Savalas hires Chris Mitchum's character to go find her, and so that's how all that kind of connects and stuff like that. So we have them, and then we also have, it's actually really cool, Anton Diffring plays in this film. He plays like a Nazi or like a German surgeon also. He's a classic actor, and he actually played in a film called The Man Who Can't Cheat Death. And that was from a film from 1959. He plays kind of a mad doctor in that one also. It's kind of like a nice little contrast piece to his crazy character. But he was known for playing like Nazi characters. He actually was a German actor himself who played a lot of American characters, a lot of British characters and stuff like that. So it was very fitting that he would be the other doctor in this film and stuff like that. We also have Howard Vernon in the film too, who actually was the original Dr. Orloff, which is very cool, who revisits that role and actually plays Dr. Orloff in the film. Very cool. We have Jess Franco's longtime partner / wife, Lena Romay. She plays a small little role. I think she plays Dr. Orloff's daughter in this film, actually, if I remember correctly. But anyways, star-studded cast of film. Really, really fun stuff. Now, my thoughts on the overall film. This film right here always reminds me of like the most French Italian type film. This whole movie just feels Italian. Like it's done in English, obviously, because a lot of these actors speak English, so it's dubbed in part. So, but it just has this overall crazy Italian aesthetic. Like right from the opening credits in this film, it has this song playing. It's very, very catchy, and every time they go to a club to find another girl to abduct and stuff, the song plays. It has this very, very overpowering Italian feel to it. And it's very 80s. This movie is super, super 80s. It's pretty awesome. And of course the effects, the blood and gore and shit like this, it's very Fulci-esque. A lot of the effects feel like they were done by an Italian effects artist. I think the guy that works on this actually was a French special effects artist, and he didn't really work on a ton of horror films. I think he worked on Life Force and stuff like that. But when you see the blood and gore and the way the effects are done in this film, it feels very Fulci-esque, which is very, very cool. But yeah, with that said, I mean, if you guys have seen Eyes Without a Face and the Dr. Orloff films, you know exactly what this is. It's exactly those movies. It's kind of like a remake of that. I think this one is, like I said, it's one of Franco's like really great last films. I just can't get over the cast in this film. It's just really, really wild stuff. So everyone does a really fantastic job. It takes a little bit to get going, to be honest. Like it takes about 45-50 minutes before you start getting into the nitty gritty of like nasty surgeries and decapitations and death scenes and shit like that. There's some really nasty things. Like there's a scene in the film where this lady gets a needle right through her eye. And if you guys know me, I can't stand eye horror. Like anything to do with eyes, which is ironic because I'm a huge Lucio Fulci film and he's known for, basically stabbing people in the eyes all the time. The classic scene from Zombie and stuff like that. But yeah, some of the gore effects and gags and stuff, like there's a scene where a surgery goes completely wrong and this chick's face is like completely obliterated, and it's pretty fucking awesome. It's nice and gory and shit like that. And then, they've got a henchman type deal, so he deals with all these bodies after, and he's hacking off arms with chainsaws and heads and shit like that. Is pretty wild. So yeah, there's a lot of blood and gore in here and stuff like that. I think my biggest complaint about Faceless, it's not even the construction of the film. I really do like it how it kind of bounces back and forth with Chris Mitchum's character and stuff like that. Investigating the disappearance of Carol Monroe. It's got that whole angle, but it's got a lot of different characters. It's got a lot of little different kind of elements that are going on throughout the film and stuff like that. Just it seems like there's almost too much for such a simple story, but I do like it. It at times it's like wash, rinse, repeat because they keep going back to the club to find another girl and stuff like that. Meanwhile, they've got Carol Monroe all hugged up in this cage kind of thing, just waiting for her surgery, but they never really kind of get to her and stuff like that. But there is one funny scene in this film where Carol Monroe's character, she's all chained up in this room, and their henchman, the guy that disposes of all the bodies and stuff like that, there's a scene where he gets all like horny and shit, and he decides he's gonna rape her. And so I read on in the facts and IMDb or whatever that I guess the guy was so distraught after what he had done to Carol Monroe's character, which I don't think Carol Monroe ever did nudity in her career, and that was one of the things. She was supposed to appear naked in that scene, but she actually didn't want to do that. But anyways, so there's like this kind of rape scene. It's not very graphic or anything, but he beats her up a little bit and kind of rapes her and stuff. I guess when they were done shooting the scene, the guy started crying because he was so appalled at what he had done to her. She had to like console him and be like, hey, it's just acting. Like that's such a bizarre story because it really wasn't that bad. I mean, at least the final edit for the film wasn't overly that bad, but I just thought that was kind of a little quirky tidbit of information from that scene and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so like Carol Monroe being like a main character in the film, she's not overly in the film a lot. Like they come back to her character from time to time, and there's scenes with her and stuff like that. And like Telly Savalas, of course, playing the father. They cut to him because he's getting updates from Chris Mitchum's character who plays a detective and stuff like that, which I think he does a really good job actually in this film. There's probably the most hilarious scene in the movie actually involves Chris Mitchum's character and the photographer, I guess his like bodyguard or something like that. Carol Monroe's photographer, who's super flamboyant in this film, is actually quite funny, but he gets into like this huge fucking fight scene with this giant bodybuilder monster dude, and it's the funniest scene ever. The sound effects are so over the top, it almost sounds like they were doing like freaking Looney Tunes cartoons sound effects and shit like that. But when the guy talks, his voice completely doesn't fit his body. It's like when you watch House by the Cemetery for the first time and you hear the little kid's voice, like, what the hell? Like, that doesn't fit at all. It's kind of like that in this, too. It's like the worst dub, but it's so utterly fucking hilarious because he kicks him in the balls. It's so good, man. It's unintentionally hilarious, but yeah, really good stuff. But what sells this film, obviously, is the idea of the surgeries and the removing of the face and all that type of stuff. This one actually ends very oddly. I always kind of forget of how this one ends, but it just like, I wouldn't say abruptly ends, but it's not really where you think it's going to go. It's kind of interesting how they do it, but I always really enjoy it, man. But like Faceless overall, really, really fun film. It's very 80s, like I said, man. If you like those 80s kind of pop songs and just the way this thing's filmed in the clubs, the outfits, the score is really up-tempo at times. It's got downbeat stuff in it too. I think it works really well for the film. But yeah, it's a very polished Jess Franco film. Definitely one of the more polished films that he did around this time. And probably overall in his career, besides his early stuff that he, you know, the Orloff films and stuff like that, those are very dark and gothic type films. I think really work. But Franco, there's tons of different eras of Franco. Like there's the early stuff that was dead serious. Then you get into the 70s stuff. Then you get into like this shit, Vampiros Lesbos, like very, very sleazy Franco. There's bad Franco. Like there's a million different type of Francos. This is actually one of my all-time favorite Franco films. I think the biggest thing for this one, I think it runs a little bit too long. Even though there's so much going on in this movie, I feel like it probably be cut down a little bit. It runs close to about 100 minutes. I think it's about 99 minutes. So that's like my biggest complaint with the movie, but it's just kind of a minor nitpick. I really do enjoy this movie, especially for the cast. Like in every scene, there's just somebody recognizable, somebody doing a really good performance. Antoine Diffring does such a good job as he's like a German surgeon. He has this big conversation in the film about how he worked with the Third Reich during World War II and stuff like that, repairing burn victims' faces and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's very fitting for his type of character. He was a great character actor that, like I said, was German, that played a lot of English roles. So a lot of people probably actually thought he actually technically was an English-speaking person, but he's here with his natural accent. It's very cool, very fitting for what it is, because it's very deviant and just brutal to be brutally honest. But yeah, transfer looks fantastic on this Blu-ray, I gotta say. Really, really good stuff here from... I would love to see what the 4K looks like. It probably looks even better than this, but I'm happy with this, even though I got cheated out of the fucking 4K. It is what it is, but yeah. All in all, man, this is, like I said, one of my all-time favorite Franco films. I'm gonna give this one 8 out of 10. I highly recommend this one. If you're iffy on Franco because you've seen some of his really shitty films and stuff like that, you know, I always tell people, stay patient with Franco and listen to other people. If you trust people's taste in films and stuff like that, and they do recommend some Franco films, because there's lots of Franco films that I think are trash. Like, I literally own probably close to 100 Franco films, no joke. That's how much love this guy gets on film and physical media and stuff. And I will say, I haven't seen all of them, but I have seen a lot of Franco films, and I've seen some really, like his cannibal films that he did in the early 80s. They were done, those were just paycheck movies. He hated the cannibal genre, so don't check out those movies. Those are fucking terrible. You know, go back to his early stuff and then kind of make your way through. Like I said, there's different eras of Franco, different genres of Franco. Like he did comedies, he did erotic thrillers, he did straight up sleaze films. You know, he did horror films, he did fucking giallos. He did everything. Franco was one of those prolific directors that just never stopped and always did a lot of really good work. So yeah, I highly recommend Faceless. It's a really good one. Yeah, good stuff, man. I'm a big fan of like not mad scientist, but like mad doctor films and stuff like that. And I thought it was just so perfect. And then must have been calculated too to get Antoine Diffring in this film playing like a mad kind of doctor again, because Man Who Could Cheat Death. I absolutely love that film from 1959. That's a really, really great film, which Vinegar Syndrome actually just gave it its fully uncut release, because I know Kino had put out that one a few years ago. And I guess there's a fully uncut version, which is coming out from Vinegar Syndrome. So if you've never seen that film, check that one out too. But yeah, you're not going to find a better cast in a Franco film than this. I think there might even be more recognizable faces in it too. I'm just not sure, but they do list them off back here, which is pretty crazy. And I'd forgot that Antoine Diffring was in Circus of Horrors, because that's a really good film too. So, but yeah, really, really good stuff. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for Faceless. I think I'm done. I don't have to say anything more. I mean, it's sleazy. It's Jess Franco. It's fun. It's 80s. It's gory. It's got everything you want. It's got great music, and it's just a really, really fun time. So check out Faceless, guys, and that's going to do it here for day 15 on the 31 Days of Horror. I'll be back tomorrow on day 16. I believe it's going to be another foreign film. Did I say this one is all English? Yeah, I did. So it's a French film. And Franco films are kind of weird like that. Some are in the native language, some aren't. You know, it just depends who he's working with, I guess. But tomorrow's film, I can't remember what country we're going to, but I'm really looking forward to watching it, because it is going to be a first-time watch, where today obviously wasn't. Faceless I've seen many times. So anyways, guys, as usual, check you tomorrow on day 16. Do